All right, the next one of the positional battle hit. And this one I thought I was super clever coming up with, but I think it's pretty dumb now that I did and include it. It's Travis Hunter.
Yep.
The positional battle being himself. Where do we see him shaking out his rookie season?
Man, oh man, oh man.
What's the role?
I'll ask you this first. Where's he more polished?
Corner.
Okay. Well, he's a lockdown corner that at times, if we get to 5-wide situations, has the ability to come out on the field. Or if even you want to involve him in some 3 receiver sets or 4 receiver sets, sure, have some packages where Travis Hunter's in the field. But you've got another great receiver there in Jacksonville. It's not like you have the need to take away from your defensive bucket, putting Travis Hunter out there on the field. Oh, I got to shut off my baby monitor. So, look, I listened to Travis Kelce talk about Travis Hunter, and he brought up a great point. If you're going to have Travis Hunter on the field going both ways, we're just going to have receivers running 9 routes all day and forcing this guy to run 40, 50 yards of play and force him to cover guys because then he's going to be shit on offense. I mean, not even a superhuman could play both sides of the ball in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Now, I tend to agree that it's going to be a lot less both sides than I think people want it to be. I think if he does play both ways, I think he will do some. I don't think he cracks. I think there's zero chance he cracks 50% of snaps both sides of the ball. I think that'd be crazy. Now,
I think 80-20 is probably.
I think for Trevor Lawrence's sake, and if you're Liam Cohen, you're an offensive guy, and you're coming into this building, you drafted a number 2 overall. You're like, why the hell would I give this guy to my defense? You know, not to be, but just like you've come up as a former quarterback, you're an offensive guy. You're like, why in the world would I put him at corner? And, you know, obviously him next to Tyson Campbell, it would greatly improve the cornerback room. But you draft Jaron Jones in the 3rd round last year. Hopefully he takes another step forward and can play on. Hopefully he can play on the outside. He's been playing the slot a lot. But like, you don't have another guy on offense that can be a weapon like Travis Hunter. So I think he's saying, I'm an offensive guy. I have the potential to put together a top 3 to 5 sort of offense in the NFL with what I'm given here.
Do it.
Exactly. I think it, and where he can play defensively, I think the thing that makes the most sense, and I've been saying it for a while, red zone. It's different calls. You know, it's a certain sheet, and you don't, what you just said, you don't get 9 rounds. You're not running a 40. You know, you're not
just go play in a phone booth against the other best athletes and be more athletic than them.
Those are the reps that get you. If you're in the red zone, at cornerback, it's child's play to him. Like you're quick bursts, a few, 20 yards max. You're not tiring yourself out playing red zone snaps. And it's the highest leverage, right? It's the highest leverage plays to be on the field too. So yeah, I think that's where it makes the most sense that I could see Travis Hunter making the impact. All right, next one. Chiefs left side. And I say left side because left tackle, left guard, both seemingly in play here. The names, Jalen Moore, who obviously just signed $15 million a year from the San Francisco 49ers. Josh Simmons, Ohio State first rounder, coming off torn patellar. Kingsley Suamataia, your second rounder from last year, who got benched. Wanya Morris, your third rounder from 2 years ago, who got benched. And then Mike Caliendo, your left guard starter for the Super Bowl, who was, let's face it, not playing at a starting level.
Yeah, I mean, the benefit of the doubt that I give the Kansas City Chiefs is that they have a great offensive line coach in Andy Heck. And we've seen flashes from guys like Wanya Morris, who at times may not look the part from a physique standpoint, but has the ability to get the job done, but is not consistent. Kingsley Suamataia, a mountain of a man, can move really well, but for some reason hasn't been able to put it together. Jalen Moore, we've seen it on tape where the guy can play. I feel like right now, if I were to put my money on a guy being the starter, it would be Jalen Moore because of the fact that Josh Simmons isn't. We don't know yet. Look, if Josh Simmons is healthy, Josh Simmons is the starting left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs for the next 10 years. He's that good when he's healthy. And yeah, if Jalen Moore is a guy that's ready to play, Andy Heck will put him inside, okay?
Yeah.
Because you go take a look at the guards that have played for Andy Heck. They're like tackles, big giants of men. And then I think about guys like Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, LDT, the doctor, my size, even thicker than me, but tall, like 6'5", 6'6". There's no issue in Andy Heck's offense putting these big guys in there because technique is paramount on the inside. And I think they do a great job of all being in lockstep. But the question mark is Josh Simmons' health and progression of guys like Kingsley Suamataia.
Yeah, I think it probably shakes out early as Jalen Moore, and then I'd say Kingsley Suamataia at left guard. But I could see Simmons being your left tackle by the end of the year, and I could see Jalen Moore kicking inside as well. All
That
right,
would be fun. Oh.
Next battle here, and it's a deep one. The Patriots wide receiver position. I said it's wide receivers one where it's like guys will still see the football field. We don't know who's going to see the football field for this Patriots team because it's not just like the third and fourth wide receiver that's in play. It's kind of the entire wide receiving room that's in play now, especially with Stephon Diggs and his offseason antics and the Patriots' feelings towards, making waves, kind of the Patriot way, and how that doesn't necessarily play well with a guy like Mike Vrabel. So Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, Pop Douglas, Kyle Williams, your third rounder from this year, Kayshon Boutte, Javon Baker, fourth rounder from last year, Jalen Polk, your second rounder from last year, and then Kendrick Bourne. That's 8 names vying for obviously 3-ish positions that you're 1, 2, 3 in the offense. How do we think this one ends up working out?
Well, I'm going to start with a name that you probably wouldn't think I'll start with, and that's Mac Hollins, okay?
Ooh.
I love the way that Mac Hollins plays football, and I was disappointed to see that it didn't work out for him in Buffalo because I know the kind of guy and teammate he is, and I know the kind of impact a guy like that can have in a room, particularly with a guy like Stephon Diggs in it. I anticipate seeing Mac Hollins out there and getting some action. Stephon Diggs, I think, is at a point in his career where he can see the door closing and wants to end it the right way. I also think that he wants to have fun. You can't shut that part of yourself up. And great coaches understand that you got to be you and you got to let your players be them. But there's a time to work and there's a time to play. We've yet to see the time to really work for Stephon Diggs in this offense. Obviously, he's got to be a part of it. As for the rest of the offense, I mean, it could be one of these groups where it's within inches, centimeters of, the third string, fourth string, fifth string guys. I'd be interested to hear what you say, but if Stephon Diggs can go, man, oh man, I can't wait to watch Drake May and him have fun.
I think if you're a Patriots fan, your dream scenario for Josh McDaniels' offense is that your starters are Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams, Jalen Polk. Both Polk, your second rounder from a year ago, more of a possession type, good at the catch point guy. Kyle Williams, your field stretcher, vertical guy. Stephon Diggs, your kind of separator underneath, intermediate, probably your go-to guy. That's like your 1, 2, 3. Mac Hollins is your 12 personnel guy who can come in and run block. He can kind of reduce and be a value add in the running game.
He's a Patriot.
Huge. Yeah, because he's huge, can be that guy. And then he's also fast. So, play action. He's running overs. He's running deep crossers, things of that nature. So he's kind of like your gadgety. I don't want to say gadgety. That's not gadget. Your wide receiver 4 who has a specific role, specific niche he plays in the offense. Same with Pop Douglas, who is your let's throw him screens. Let's give him, quick underneath routes. He's just electric, but he's not really a guy you can feature because of his size. And then after that, you have Kayshon Boutte and Javon Baker is kind of just like insurance, icing on the cake. I think that's your dream scenario. How it ends up shaking out, though, I think is anybody's guess because, if I'm just breaking these down in terms of just talent at this point, obviously Stephon Diggs still deserves to be there. But Kyle Williams and Javon Baker were 2 guys to me that are they are uber talented. Would not surprise me if either of them rose to prominent positions of the offense or if either of them don't get featured because it really is, when you're a third and fourth rounder, it's crap.
You get lost.
Yes. So I'm interested to see how it shakes out because Drake May deserves the help. He could use it after what he had to go through as a rookie. So obviously one we'll be watching closely. 2 more. and it's both offensive line. Gave you your red meat here at the end. And we're going to start with the Eagles, specifically their right guard position. The one position they lost from a year ago, Mekhi Becton, obviously with the Los Angeles Chargers now. Back in 2023, this was an issue. Lost Isaac Seumalo, kind of struggled to replace with, they trotted out Cam Jurgens at right guard. He didn't work out, or it was his rookie year. He's not a guard. He's a center. Didn't go great for him. They trotted out Tyler Steen. Didn't go great for him. Didn't go great for him last year in the Super Bowl when he had to come in from Mekhi Becton. So is it Tyler Steen? Is it Matt Pryor, who they signed? Is it Kenyon Green, who they traded for? They added 6 offensive linemen to this room this offseason. That's how, kings stay kings. When you have an offensive line that good, you can't let it go to fallow. You can't let it backtrack at all. They added 6 guys. So who ends up being that right guard, in your opinion? Is it Steen? Is it Pryor? Is it Green? Who do you think?
Well, the name that is not on this list is Williams. This is Cameron Williams,
Texas
OT. With Jeff Stoutland, you never know until you see the group in action, because like Andy Heck, he can do real magic, and he allows for guys to really blossom. And I'm glad you pointed out that Jurgens couldn't play guard. For the centers out there, it's not that you got 2 of the baddest MFers right next to you all the time. It ain't that hard, okay, to play center. You come out and play guard, you got to be the Banff. Now you are the Banff. It's hard. It's a hard game. And last year we saw Mekhi Becton step in at the right guard position and have a great year. And obviously he got himself paid and is out on the West Coast now. But between Lane Johnson and Cam Jurgens, you can't really go wrong with any of these guys. I watched Matt Pryor play in the Navy and Orange. He is a mountain of a man and somebody that's not going to miss many blocks in there with the helpers that I just named. Tyler Steen obviously has had a crack at it. We'll see what Stout thinks about him. Kenyon Green is a guy that wasn't a scheme fit, right? Correct? He wasn't a scheme fit and just didn't pan out.
First rounder.
Now he gets an opportunity, a first rounder with development abilities of Jeff Stoutland. That could be the guy. I mean, I've got Williams and Green circled because I watched Matt Pryor play. He's a good guy that fills in at the right guard spot if you've got an injury. Tyler Steen hasn't gotten it done, but Kenyon Green has fooled enough people to get drafted in the first round. Stoutland, he's going to figure out what he's got.
And Green, he's still young. Still only 24. Still younger than, I believe he's younger than Anthony Belton, Packers second rounder. So like still younger than guys coming into the league right now. That's never, never mean that's not a
they ain't messing around. I'm not talking, Stoutland, I can say Tom Blue in the face, but Lane Johnson is serious as a heart attack. And yeah, he's fun and all that stuff, but you put your hand in the dirt next to him, you better come correct. And if you don't, he'll find somebody in that building, in that O-line room with him, who's willing to do what he needs to be done.
And one of the big reasons why it was such an issue in 2023 is because when you have a guy like Lane Johnson, you don't slide to Lane Johnson. No. You're sliding towards Jordan Mailata. You're sliding to the left side. You're sliding to Jalen Hurts' blind side, especially since, Jalen Hurts not one of the more fumble-prone quarterbacks in the NFL. So if you, all things being equal, that slide's going left, which means you're right guard. You're on an island more often.
That's where you earn your money, buddy. That's why Mekhi Becton got his money.
Yes. So it's a big position, big shoes to fill, literally and figuratively, in that Eagles offensive line. Last one here. And this one's not as much a battle as it kind of just is. I want to see how it shakes out.
Shuffle.
It's the Saints offensive line. We know who the 5 are. It's going to be your 4 former first rounders in Kelvin Banks, who you just drafted in the first round, Trevor Penning, who you drafted in the first round a few years ago, Taliesin Fuaga, who you drafted in the first round last year, Cesar Ruiz, who was a former first rounder, and then Eric McCoy. He'll be at center. Cesar Ruiz will be at right guard. Those 2 are set in stone. That's where they've played majority of their careers, I think their entire careers. So those 2 we know. But it's Fuaga, Penning, and Kelvin Banks that we don't quite know just yet. How do we see this one going, and how do we see it working?
I would say that if you are looking to invest in something and you're a New Orleans Saints offensive lineman, I would say invest in a neck roll. You've got a lot of youth at the quarterback position. You got a lot of guys that were just named that can run the football, and they have that kind of demeanor. They've got that physicality, and we saw it last year really hit its stride with the running game with this group. And now you add in Kelvin Banks Jr. It's hard not to think that you get better, but we all know it. They don't have the guns. They don't have the butter in New Orleans to be able to put it together and go on a run. Obviously, they're going to be picking in the top 3 or 4 picks in next season's draft. But they've invested in the offensive line, and whoever does step in to play quarterback when the time comes will have a seasoned group of guys who are expensive but talented.
Yeah, they are going to absolutely pound the rock. I foresee Kelvin Banks. So if we're just purely ranking this off of draft capital, Banks had the most, Talius-Fuaga second most, Trevor Penning third most. And since neither, since Penning, Fuaga haven't necessarily done anything on an NFL football field to say, hey, I deserve XYZ position, I think it ends up shaking out. Banks gets his left tackle position. That's where the only position he played at Texas.
The golden boy.
He gets left tackle. Fuaga, truthfully, they should. I don't know why they started him at left tackle to begin his career. He was a right tackle at Oregon State. I'm putting him back at right tackle.
Yep.
And then Trevor Penning at left guard.
Trevor Penning. He's got to. When we figure out what's going to happen with Trevor Penning, it'll be interesting to see, because you die a very slow death at the guard position in pass protection, or a very quick death at the guard position in pass protection. At tackle, it's drawn out a bit. You get some distance. If Trevor Penning has some really good length, he's very strong. If you can figure out how to aim and hit his aiming points in the pass protection game, he could be a really good guard because we know he's dominant in the run game.
Yeah.
Or that's his strength, I would say. I don't want to use the phrase dominant, but if he can come up a bit in the pass game, they're going to have a big boost offensively.
Yeah, so very interesting to see how it shakes out. But again, they're built to run the rock. I foresee Alvin Kamara having his first 1,000-yard season if he stays healthy because, well, they're going to literally have to. They're not going to want to pass the ball too much.